Actually, I mean, one's food that he gives to his wife, if he's a bread earner in the house, so to speak, is charity. And
Yes.
the Prophet commended men on that. So we go out, I say, to the relatives, and the best of connection with the kin is to visit those who don't visit you.
Yes.
It's not, if you see one brother all the time and you're partners and you do things together, that's normal.
Yes.
But to actually remember one that does not call you and call him, that's the real connection.
Yeah.
And that's what the Quran and talked about, and what the Prophet ﷺ, talked very nicely about.
So it's one of the important things to realize, what is worship in Islam, and every act we do is worship. The act of spending time with your spouse is worshipping. The act of whichever, like there's a story where the companions were sitting with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and a young man was very energetic and walking quickly. So somebody said, if only this was for the sake of Allah, this energy and this thing. And we all make this sarcastic comments sometimes. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, if it is for him to help his elder parents, it's for the sake of Allah. If he's going to take care of his family, it's for the sake of Allah. If it's just to keep himself and protect himself rather than go and beg, it's for the sake of Allah. And this is the whole act of worship. Everything we do should be with good intentions for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to realize everything we do in life is part of the worship.
No, exactly. Now, the last aspect, of course, is the love for strangers or, non-relatives kind of thing. And the Prophet has given us almost a recipe for that, and we should start practicing it. And it's very quick. I mean, there is the simple things of, saying Yarhamukumullah, or, when someone sneezes, to visiting the sick, to following a funeral, because people are, grieving, and when you show up with them, it's solidarity. The simpler ones, I say again, giving gifts, to saying Salamu Alaikum, to Muslims. All these are signs, or practicing the one's love for others. Now, of course, add to that, you mean it, that it's not just because it's acts to do. And the last one, the Prophet ﷺ advised us that we need to tell others we love them.
Yes.
So, especially when you say it behind their back. So imagine, someone sort of has an ill feeling towards you for some reason, and he hears from someone that he was talking to you, and you said, you know what, I love that brother. Or, ladies for each other kind of thing. That would remove and melt all the differences, inshallah.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a very important thing, and again, it goes back to showing emotions, showing that you care, expressing your feelings. And one of the things about we're told about this hadith where a man is going to visit a friend, and he's stopped by an angel, and the angel asks him, where are you going? He says, I'm going to visit this friend in the next town. He says, does he owe you money? No. Are you in business together? No. Whatever. The angel is asking him, why are you trying to visit? He says, he's just my brother in Islam, and I'm just going to visit him for the sake of Allah. So the angel told him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gotten a great reward for you for this, for just visiting, that keeping in touch for no reason, picking up the phone and calling. It's sad these days that when the phone rings, somebody wants something. You'd wish that somebody's calling just to say Assalamu alaikum, or how are you, or I miss you. But unfortunately, in the busy world we're living today, people only remember to say hello to you because they need something. And how do we get around this?
Well, I mean, we need to go back ourselves and, practice the love for each other, and, understand that that's part of loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and, think it all, by simple practice will come back to the level of the love the Sahaba had for each other, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, and that they are merciful on each other, and they're strong against the disbelievers. I want to touch on one subject because it's often confused. Of course, this love, when we love for someone what we love for ourselves, is about earthly things, which is very difficult. Nobody, wants someone to be richer than them, but we really should wish others to be richer than us. That's,
or we wish that we all be good, and we all have.
No, but the Prophet said, that he wishes for others what he loves for himself.
Yes.
So yes, so wishing that, they have what we have, or, or what we want for ourselves, we want for them. That's number one. but we also need to remove the barriers, remove the suspicion. Like we have to remember, of course, Surah Al-Hujurat and all the advices it has in there about not to suspect bad about each other, not to talk about each other behind their back. And if two people are fighting or disagreeing, which is allowed in Islam, we need to step in and fix that.
There's a lot of things to cover, but we have run out of time. But one thing I heard, and it really touched me, is a lot of Muslims learn how to live for the hereafter and prepare for the hereafter, but they don't know how to live for the sake of Allah and enjoy life for the sake of Allah. Good night and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.